let's say Europe would like to there to be peace, they would like there to be ceasefire, they would like life to go back to what it was before. They shouldn't be like, yeah, the Ayatollahs, they are bad people, they kill their own people. Yeah, so that way they are actually helping um Donald Trump's narrative. Instead, they should be like, okay, we know this regime is A, B, C, D. So what do we need to do? We need to sit on the table with the regime, and then maybe negotiate with them on their human rights, history, or whatever it is that people are complaining about. Because if you throw in insults, well, for some it may work, but I think the more insults people are throwing, the more likely the Iranians are going to fight back, because we know they have, and I've seen video, sort of some sort of Lego video stuff on mocking Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump and the administration. I've seen that. That's being done to try and sort of fight back, but in a classy way, because they're like, no, we don't go your way of throwing insults, calling us this. We do this sort of educated way, unlike you who do the barbaric way, and you also use insults which are undignified. We just go through it by calling out your actions. So some of the video they show Peter Hegseth's Lego body drinking, and beer sort of splashing out and all that. Obviously, it's also teaching us that we operate sometimes, especially when we are far apart and we don't read about other countries, we operate on false narratives. Out goes the fact that, oh, they are barbaric, they are not educated, they know nothing. Actually, they are educated people, just like anywhere else in the world. I used to say that to people when I first came here to the UK, that you want me to prove what exactly? That I did a master's degree, which kind of English literature, which is really more in depth, as far as I'm concerned, more in depth than what I see here. What do you want to know? Because people always think like the Western world is the best, and we are also to blame, because I came here to do my master's and my PhD. We always think the West is best educational system, they've got this, they've got, but I believe that if we were to really look at, and obviously the measurement of who is done by Western through a Western lenses. So we tend to think that some of the education that is offered out there, or people out there, are not educated enough, but on the contrary, they actually are, and they can be people who could be more educated than people in the West, and who are even clever. So you cannot measure how intelligent people are by where they come from. That's not how intelligence works. That you come from England, so you have to be intelligent, or you come from America, so you have to be intelligent. Doesn't work like that. And now we are seeing it, how the Iranians are fighting in a more dignified way than insults on Truth Social, or I don't know, in a sort of press release. So it's very, very difficult to try diplomacy that way. Okay, some people say it works, but I think it works if the person you're dealing with is a weakling. But if you're dealing with a country that has its dignity to maintain, and that is also as proud and also as capable, I think insults will be just like nothing. And like I said, they fight back with something even more dignified, more classy, more put together, because these Lego things they're doing, it shows that they are IT knowledgeable, and all that, and they're thinkers. They're not just like people who are barbaric. So it's showing a lot of weaknesses, I think, as far as I'm concerned, in the sort of international community. Because before, people used to say, oh, we look up the international community to come and help us.